The following is an exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the National Football League.
Side he does, McCaffrey leaps, touchdown!
And we are going to the NFC Championship game.
Taken down, Ryan Burns in trouble, flicks it out of the backfield, picked off Pigley, touchdown! Over the middle, intercepted Chinn.
Peppers coming back the other way.
Leaping grab, Moore, touchdown!
Good afternoon. I stand before you excited about this opportunity, but also disappointed in how it came about. Coach Rule is a great coach, a great man, and as I stated here yesterday to the players, we didn't do our job as coaches and players. We didn't coach hard enough. We didn't win enough football games to keep him around. But I also stated as well that this is part of the business. And one thing I do know for sure, they're not canceling our season. So we got to do a great job of coming together collectively and finding a way to turn this thing around quickly. And I'm excited about this opportunity. I'm excited about the men that we have in this locker room. And I feel like we have the right pieces in place to create some movement going forward.
Hi, everyone, and welcome inside the Panthers Huddle, powered by AWS. I'm your host, Kristen Valboni. That was newly appointed interim head coach Steve Wilks as he addressed the media for the first time earlier this week. The Charlotte native returned to the Panthers this season as defensive backs coach. He was previously a Panthers assistant coach from 2012 through 2017 and also served as the head coach for the Arizona Cardinals in 2018. And we'll have more from Coach Wilks when we sit down with him later in the show. Wilks stepped into the interim role after the team parted ways with former head coach Matt Rule following a 1-4 start. Defensive coordinator Phil Snow and assistant special teams coach Ed Foley will also not continue with the team. Panthers owner David Tepper took to the podium to address the media and fans about what went into making this decision.
Just first, a statement. These days are never easy. It's very human times in a very public way. Had a conversation with the coach this morning. It was short, cordial. He's a gentleman, a true gentleman. I then had a conversation with Steve Wilks and named him interim coach and had that conversation. And with that, I'll take questions.
We'll start with Darren. Dave, you talked before about wanting to build a long-term sustainable winner. Ultimately, why did you choose to make this decision today as opposed to at any point previously like this offseason?
Look, there's numerous reasons why you make a decision like that. Ultimately, I felt this was the time.
Dave, how much did what happened yesterday matter to you in terms of your timing, the fire Matt Rule chance, the fact that there were so many 49ers fans here, and the 22-point loss?
Listen, as I said, there's numerous reasons why you make a decision. There might have been a little bit of loss of intensity on the field yesterday. I would say that's probably evident versus the first 4 games. Listen, I have great respect for the fans, and I do hear the fans. But ultimately, that can't be a reason why you make a change like this. But again, there's numerous reasons why you make a change like this.
Do you have a message to the fans who maybe felt the franchise wasn't moving in the right direction after this move?
Look, football is a funny business. Things take time, and as a former fan, I don't want to hear that. I want to answer. I want to win today, and I don't care about anything else. And I understand that, and I want to win too. But I do think we have made some progress, and we will make future progress. I think it's pretty reported out there that defense has some respect for the defense. It's probably a top half of the league defense or better. I think the offensive line is probably the best offensive line we've had since I've been here. Can get better, but I think that's probably fair to say. So I do think those are kind of foundation pieces. I think we have a lot further to go, and I think eventually we'll get over the hump.
Coming up on the Huddle, we sit down with new interim head coach Steve Wilks.
This exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers television network is brought to you in part by Bank of America, official bank of the Carolina Panthers.
Guys, this is what we talked about, okay? All right? Being locked in, being focused, all right, and having the best practice we've had all year, all right? That's what we talked about. Don't try to get through it, all right? Get better today. And don't let it get in the way, okay? We're going to be in here. It's going to be tight a little bit, but we're going to get better, okay? The speed of the pack is determined by the speed of the leader. Let's get it today, all right? Break us down right here, DJ.
Let's get it, man.
Coach Wilks, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me. I know it has been a very busy few days since being named interim head coach. What was at the top of your priority list since you got the call?
I think it was really just trying to make sure that everybody was aligned. When you take over a team in mid-season, trying to really bring everybody together on the same page and really trying to implement your philosophy in a short period of time, I think is like important but also crucial.
What is your philosophy?
My philosophy is number one is that, I want to have an open line of communication with everyone. I want everybody to understand they have value within this organization. All right, we always talk about, many parts, but one body of work, and really you can't do it without everybody. Offense, defense, special teams, whether it's video, IT, the football staff, we're all in this together.
And, I imagine you told the team a lot of that when you talked to them for the first time, but considering what a week it's been, what else did you tell the team when you got in front of them and addressed them?
Well, the one thing that we can't do, we can't look behind, We're sitting here 1-4, we understand that. But right now, I wanted them to create the mindset of being 0-0, all right? This is a new season for us, And I gave them an old cliche that, sight is totally different from vision. You got to see past the difficulties. And if we listen to everything on the outside, well, we're not a good football team, we're last in this category. We got a lot of talent in that locker room. And it's my job to figure out how we can get that talent to produce. And we're going to make sure that we try to start this week.
How is this team's vision as it stands here today? How do you assess that?
I thought we had a great day of practice, changing the mindset of putting pads on a Wednesday. We would normally go Thursday. My philosophy is everything starts up front, offense and defensive line. So with that, we wanted to put the pads back on, create a mindset of running the ball, stopping the run, and we had great energy today.
Well, you just mentioned, let's talk about the defensive line. That would start with your new defensive coordinator, Al Holcomb. I know you guys have quite the history together with the Panthers and the Cardinals. Why was he the right man to be your defensive coordinator?
I believe in, act of a champion, how I live my life, accountability, commitment, and trust. And he's a guy that I know is accountable. He's committed to his craft, and I definitely trust him. And he was with me in Cleveland as well. I brought him along as a linebacker coach. So he understands my philosophy and the things that I believe in. So I feel like I can be out of that room and know that my voice is still being heard.
So how long have you two known each other?
I came here in 12, he came here in 13.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And just to see where you guys have been all together. Offensively, you're retaining the same staff. What in your mind does this offense need to do to turn things around?
I think once again, as I talked to the team, I wanted to minimize the volume and maximize the execution in all three phases. I think when you look at what we're doing, I like what we're doing. We need to simplify things to make guys go out and play faster. And sometimes it's really just the illusion that you're doing more by window dressing things. As I know from a defense perspective that we get a lot. It's the same play, but it looks different. So it's just that element of trying to change things and really putting guys in position to be successful.
I couldn't help but notice that David Tepper in his press conference called you a leader of men. We've talked a little bit about your leadership philosophy, but how do you lead this team through the rest of the season?
By really exemplifying what you're about. I talked about an act of a champion. I got to be accountable. I got to make sure that I'm committed, and that commitment is going to show through the staff first, which is going to filter downstairs to the players. And I think when you do that, you build that level of trust. And being authentic, being honest and upfront with the guys. I say this all the time. They may not like what you say, but in the end, they're going to respect it when you can always just be honest with them.
As we look at this week, you are in the midst of game planning. You are, deciding what you want with your staff. How do you keep it all straight?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me right now, I just draw on past experiences. You know, having previous head coach experience in Arizona, there's certain things that are going to come up that doesn't have anything to do with football. You know how to channel that energy in the right place and then get refocused. So that's why I really reflect and draw back on.
And you came here this season, you returned home this season. What is it about this organization? Obviously, you've been here before for quite some time. This organization, this city that drew you back to the Panthers?
Well, I never sold my house here. This is a place where I felt like I was always going to come back and retire. I have a lot of strong love and passion for this city and this community. I've been around here since, you know, in '95 when we first got the team. So I've always joked about I have two favorite teams. When I was with another team, I say, well, whoever I was working for at that time, and then the Panthers. So now I just have one favorite team.
It simplifies things.
Yeah, it does. But just being back home and having my family, my kids, in just one central location. I think a lot of times when in this profession, we move around so much and we really don't know the impact that it has really on your kids. So I just wanted to bring them back home and get them into a familiar environment.
Did the renters leave the house in good condition when you got back to it?
You know what, to be honest, we never had renters in there.
Oh, hey, there you go. Well, that is great, Coach. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.
As I said,
it.
I know this has been such a busy week, but we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
This exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers Television Network is brought to you in part by Bank of America, official bank of the Carolina Panthers.
Coach Wilks has been a tremendous coach since he walked in, especially for me being able to be in the room with him every day. I'm excited where he's going to take the team, and we just excited to get things turned around.
His energy is unmatched. We have a great relationship with Coach Wilks, man. I'm sure everybody in the locker room is excited that, we have a guy like Coach Wilks that's going to be leading us the rest of the season. And he's just, Charlotte native, North Carolina guy. I talked about the energy, and that's just one thing that you can't match with Coach Wilks. So we're excited for Coach Wilks, and we're going to go out there and we're going to continue to play ball.
They picked the right guy to go be the interim head coach. He's been here before. He's from the city. He's been a head coach before. He has a lot of respect around this building. He knows what he's talking about. He knows the schemes. He knows situational ball, and it's good to see.
The respect that he has is incredible. I was with him in 2017 and early in my career, and when you hear people talk about him, it's special. He's somebody that demands respect. He's somebody that's been in this position before, who knows what it's like to call plays, knows what it's like to be a head coach, and so I think everybody just has a lot of respect for him and is fired up to play hard for him.
You just heard from some of the captains and leaders on this team, and it's clear they have the utmost respect and confidence in Coach Wilks. And as the guys prepare for the Rams this week, let's take a look back at our last game against the Niners in this week's Bojangles Rewind.
It is a gorgeous sun-spangled Sunday in the Queen City. Panthers against the 49ers.
The Panthers came into this one hungry for a win against a 49ers team leading the league in defense.
Receiver look, Garoppolo from the gun, screen pass to Coleman. Does he have an opening?
San Francisco jumps out to a quick lead, scoring on the opening drive.
And he's in for the end zone for a touchdown.
It was a defensive battle in the first half, with the Panthers showing up with some big plays.
You got to let the routes develop downfield. Shotgun snap, Burns in the backfield, and he takes down Garoppolo at the 30-yard line. Gold's kick is blocked. It's picked up by Shaq Thompson.
Panthers get on the board in the second quarter with an Eddie Pinheiro field goal.
Mayfield, too high for McCaffrey. It's intercepted by Mosley. 10-5, touchdown, San Francisco, pick six, Emmanuel Mosley.
But Carolina responds in the second half, coming out of the locker room hot and putting the ball into the hands of Christian McCaffrey.
Running right side, got a great block from Moton. McCaffrey cuts it inside the 10-5, touchdown.
But after that, it was tough going for Carolina. The 49ers widened the gap with 3 more touchdowns in the second half.
Garoppolo throws, end zone, reaching up for a touchdown is Deebo Samuel.
Backup quarterback P.J. Walker had to sub in for an injured Baker Mayfield. The loss dropped the Panthers to 1-4 on the season.
Listen, I understand there's frustration. The fans don't want to hear we're close. We almost got there. What if? They want to win. They want to get there. 5 games in, nobody's happy with 1-4.
Coming up, Panthers safety Jeremy Chinn shows us that a small gesture can have a much bigger meaning.
Closed captioning for the Panthers television network is provided by Charlotte Eye, Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates, helping you enjoy the sights and sounds of the NFL all season long.
You eating good today. You eating good today. You got the fried chicken, mac and cheese. Gotta throw the green beans in there. The dinner rolls. We eating good, man. Yes, sir. Keep pounding, baby. You know, I was really concerned, just like, where are all these people going? And then also, like, where I come from, like, there's homeless people, but, like, not to the extent that I saw it here. So, you know, immediately I just felt like there's got to be something, whatever it may be, that I can, you know, do or help in any type of way. So today is a great feeling, you know, just being able to have, you know, just a little bit of a positive impact. It's a really good feeling.
That was Jeremy Chinn giving back to those in need in this week's Coke Community Spotlight. And it's great to see that Jeremy isn't just making plays on the field, he's making an impact off the field as well. And if you've watched Jeremy closely, every time he steps onto the field or makes a big play, there is this small little gesture that goes along with it. And even though he's currently out with an injured hamstring, keep your eyes on 21 when he returns. I was able to sit down with him and find out there is a big meaning to such a small act. So Jeremy, 3 seasons now with the Panthers, we've noticed that you do this hand gesture. What is the story behind it?
I point up to the sky. The 3 is for an old teammate and friend of mine, Dejon Anderson, who was no longer with us. But you know, we played 7-on-7 together. You know, we became really close. Really, just traveling 7-on-7, it really builds a team, like the road trips, and you know, we really built a really good friendship.
Tell me about him as a person. Like, who was Dejon?
Dejon was outgoing, man. he was super outgoing. His energy was contagious. You know, not just on the football field, which it was there too, but you know, off the field as well. Yeah, he was always, you know, joking, dancing, laughing, all that type of stuff. When I went to college, he was still in high school, obviously, and he committed to Southern Illinois, where I was at the time. When he committed, I was his host, you know, on his official visit. So, you know, he left such an impact just on the official visit. He actually never made it onto campus. He passed away before then, but, you know, me taking the field now, I feel like, you know, just carrying him with me, because you know, he kind of followed my footsteps in going to SIU. And, you know, I feel like as long as I'm on the football field, he'll be on the football field too.
When you found out that he passed, what was that like?
It was tough. I remember me and my mom, we went to the hospital to see him, and it was him and his mom. And I remember just talking to him. He was unresponsive at the time. I remember just touching him, talking to him like, hey man, I'm here. I don't know if he ever heard me or not. Never got a response, but you know, I hope that he did maybe. It was definitely tough, for sure, especially, you know, being at the age that I was.
When did you decide that this gesture that you do was going to be for him?
Back in college, I decided that even in school, like the whole sideline, like before a kickoff game, like we would all just throw up 3.
Really?
Yeah.
That was his number?
Yeah. It's legendary.
When you do that on the field, you think about him?
All the time.
Yeah.
Because you can't take anything for granted. I'm sure the last time he touched the field, he didn't think it was going to be his last time on the field. And you know, like I said, you never know. I never know when it's going to be my last time on the field, so just not taking anything for granted.
Winston takes the shotgun snap, edge pressure, and he's sacked. Jeremy Chinn in the backfield.
So you've done such a beautiful job of honoring Dijon for years now. How do you want him to be remembered?
I would say, one, his personality, his outgoing personality, and also just brightening everybody up around him. Like just being around his energy, being around him as a person, you probably felt better after that.
That's something that you do too, you know?
Thank
for
you.
your teammates, for everyone that you know. So I think you're carrying on his legacy in more ways than one.
Thanks, Kibby.
Well, I really appreciate Jeremy trusting me to tell that story and to learn more about what motivates him. Unfortunately, though, that is all the time we have for today, but be sure to tune in this Sunday as the team heads west to take on the defending Super Bowl champion LA Rams. Fox will have the TV coverage, and you can catch me and the rest of the radio crew on 99.7 The Fox locally. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time right here inside the Panthers Huddle.
You've been watching the Panthers Huddle, a copyrighted presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the NFL.